cowboy shirt.
Josh Wagman in the house.
Hey, y'all.
Books for STL Kids. Josh, how long have we known each other, buddy?
What is that, at least 10 years now?
At least 10 years. I was going to say
Too
high
long.
school. Half a lifetime ago.
Yeah, definitely more than 10 years at this point.
A lot of
forget how old we are.
A lot of growth between then and now.
Wags.
My first roommate over there.
That was your first roommate, was
Yeah,
Colin?
yeah.
How'd that work out?
It didn't last too long.
How many
Wait.
months?
3.5?
3.5
3.5
months. Yeah.
Wow, almost 100 days.
Yeah. And for a while, we were the only two paying rent.
That's true. The only two with jobs, too.
Only two with jobs, and then our richest roommate was like the one we had to track down the most.
We had no idea what he was doing.
Well, that's
Yeah.
how you stay rich. You got to stay tight with your
That's
funds.
right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't just be paying bills all the time.
Yeah.
You'll never get ahead.
God, that house, I could tell stories. I could use this whole podcast.
That might be for a different show.
Different platform, surely.
Oh, okay, I see how it is.
So, Josh, we've been in works to do some sort of work together since February, and then we all know what happened this year, that we couldn't get it ahead. So why don't you go ahead and tell us, or anybody listening, who you work with, what you do. We'll get started on that, and then we'll kind of open it up to talk about the greatest event that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, so I volunteer for STL, or Books for STL Kids. Better get that right. We changed it, the name. I've been volunteering there for about 12 and a half years now, and I'm a volunteer. Just got put on the fundraising committee, and next year I'm going to be on the board. All started back freshman year of high school, just doing menial setup work, playing with the kids, wrapping Christmas presents for donations. Haven't done that in a while. I suck at wrapping Christmas presents again, so I need to probably get back.
Your mom's been involved that whole time?
Yeah, my mom, I've actually been involved longer than her.
Really?
She's on a bunch of boards, so she's been a little busy, but she's been on the Treasury for 8 years now. She's on the board, and she does the largest book party committee, which we'll get into later. It's our biggest event. About less than a year ago, I realized I was in a position to do more for the charity with my job, my skill sets, and just my drive to want to do a little bit more, and the connections I built up through other people. So that's when I reached out to our president, Heather Winsby, to do a little bit more, and that's what sold me on it. She didn't want me to talk about it too much, but Heather's been the president for 22 years now. She's very passionate and believes in the cause so much that she does this full-time for a living. So I thought it was important to make a keynote that we have the right leadership here to drive this charity, and that's what really sold me, was our meeting together, and that's when I decided to get more involved.
Is she the founder?
Yeah.
Do you know
Well,
how she decided to start it, or?
Well, technically, let me get this right. And we started as First Book St. Louis. It's a local chapter of First Book, an organization in Washington, D.C. But in 2015, we decided to change our name and branch off to do more of the goals that reflects what we think we want to do, and enabling us to reach the St. Louis community.
Yeah,
more.
without answering to anybody else.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is your brother a part of that? We spoke about that last time we did the podcast.
He's going to be. He did a bunch of the little volunteer work I mentioned I did earlier,
Sure.
but he's a teacher and getting his master's degree currently, so he's a little busy. But we give a lot of the books to his school, Cahokia School District, so I'm positive he'll be more involved in the future.
Yeah, no doubt, a lot on his plate at the moment. So how have things been for the charity with the COVID and everything else that's going on through this year?
It's been pretty good. We've been pretty proactive with the COVID stuff. We noticed that a bunch of schools and organizations were providing free lunches for kids, and we saw an opportunity to join up with that. So we decided to also offer these kids a free book, brand new book, with their lunches. So it's called Lunch in a Book, and over the course of 7 weeks, we've provided over 3,000 new books to 10 different schools, being U City, Rittner, Christ Called Jeremiah Food Pantry, Lift for the Life Academy, Cahokia School District, Staunton School District, Winsfield School District, Unleashing Potential, Parents as Teachers, and Vashon Academy.
That was one of the biggest things. So 3,000 books. When you gave me this pamphlet, Josh, in February, I read that there's one new book for every 300 children in some areas, which sounds made up, right? Like you'd think, how could that be possible? One new book, and these aren't textbooks we're talking about. We're talking about children's books. I
Yeah.
mean, story books. They shouldn't be hard to get your hands on. So 3,000 books is a huge impact in, just over 2 months.
That and you stressed the last time we met, they're brand new books, right?
Yeah.
You don't use any new book or
Yeah.
used books.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
I can get into a little bit of the mission, and
How do you pick what books you're gonna buy?
that is, and I'll get right to it.
Get
How
right to it.
Yeah.
How we
please.
give away the books is what makes us different. What we do is we accept, besides like our little giveaways outside of that, we accept 2 book grants twice a year, which we do this in order to reach the hard to reach kids in our community. So the process works by granting out new books in the form of book credits at our marketplace, called Books for STL Kids Marketplace. And these books in the bookstore range from 50 to 90% off retail. So this allows the closest kids to the people closest to the kids to do the choosing of the books, because they know their kids better and they know what's going to apply better to them.
Sure.
So this is a very unique way of distributing books. It provides the most impact, and as of we know, to the best of our knowledge, we're the only ones that do this in the greater St. Louis area.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, we can backtrack, Josh. You said that you were talking about a mission. You had something you wanted to mention, a mission statement.
Yeah, so pretty much the mission of our organization is to provide brand new books for children in low-income families. Most of these families in low-income areas, they don't have the luxury of
Sure.
affording new books for their kids, and we wanted them to have that unique experience of opening a first book, brand new, and
The
knowing
smell,
the smell of
crack
it,
the spine on the book, dude.
Sign
and
your name in there.
Sign your name in there, sure.
And then-
Everybody should know what that's like.
Right.
and then just knowing that book's theirs.
Right.
It's no hand-me-down. It's no one else's. You don't have to return it. It's yours.
And do they just get shipped right to the school?
Yeah, we'll come in person with the events.
You do like
For
a
the-
bookmobile or
For the
something?
small thing, but then the online store, it'll be shipped directly to their organization.
So how many events are you guys doing a year?
We do about 8 to 10 events a year.
Okay.
I guess that will transition into our biggest event, which is called Largest Book Party. This started at the Boys and Girls Club with just 30 kids, and at the end of 2019, our 7th year of this event, we have more than 450 kids in attendance now, and we gave away 1,800 new books last year.
Damn.
The kids age in the range of 4 to 8.
Is it still at the Boys and Girls Club?
No, we are at where are we at now? James J. Egan Center in Florissant for the past 5 years, but 450 plus kids now. We're starting to outgrow that location, so
Yeah, that's cool.
we're gonna have to start looking for new avenues to hold this event.
Why did you want to become a board member?
I wanted to work with these kids because mainly I want to work with kids,
Yeah.
and I love to read.
Yeah.
So I have always liked the underdog, which kids coming from low-income families pretty much fits the need there, and all those things apply to STL books.
Just want to be a role model, right?
Just want to help out.
I think that's kind of like what we were talking about whenever we first met. Was that's why this organization is so unique. I think it's so cool for I think every personality at this table is really just likes to get involved with and be a role model to some kids who don't have that role model in their family. So that's why it's cool, man.
And then going back to the event, which make this event pretty special, is in the morning it's story times. So each of these kids are divided into reading stations, which we had about 16 last year, where local firemen, police officers, librarians, and volunteers read to these kids. And then after one story, they rotate to a different station to hear a different story from a different personality. We all know people are pretty unique when they tell stories to kids.
Yeah.
So we give them that opportunity. And then after that, the kids are given snacks and drinks from the volunteers, and then they go over to the book tables where they get to choose between the list of books that we have, 3 to 4 books that they like. They also get a new T-shirt and a brand new bag to carry all those books in. So, like I said, that's held at James J. Egan Center in Florissant now, and we're scheduled with COVID. We don't have a set date, but September 2020 is our new target location for that event this year. And then you can RSVP at events at booksforstlkids.org.
Okay, we'll have to add that to our description. It makes me think, like, when I was in grade school, the book fair came once a year, and it was like the best week or weekend of the year. And if I wanted something, my parents just bought it. Like there was no real arguing.
You want a book?
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously though.
Grab that
not
magazine and circle what you want.
Yeah.
Or well, we did that too. But they
Yeah.
used to come to the school and
Right,
set up,
right.
like set up shop. It'd be a whole bookstore, and
The
nobody
bookmobile.
ever
Is that
told
what
me
you guys have?
no.
Right.
And then you hear people like, for some of these kids, they've never seen something like that, much less getting free books and getting that kind of care and support
Yeah.
that you would get.
I think the reading's really cool too, because that just reminded me of when we were in grade school, especially, and our parents would come in. Like a parent would trade out every week and come into the library
And
read a
read.
story to everyone,
Yeah.
and everybody would be. That was like everything revolved around that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool.
Yeah, and that's
thing.
from the people in their communities, the firemen and
Right,
Yeah.
police departments, Florissant
Makes them
Police
a little more
Department.
accessible.
And,
So a
especially
little
right
more
now for those
personable.
guys, for the firefighters and cops, for them to
first
show.
responders in general.
Yeah. To
Build
get
that
involved like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I got
Sure.
one question before I forget, and you might get to this, but is there any type of like, I remember I used to do a reading program every summer, basically just to keep me in line, but it would have like a little incentive package with the end of it. Do you guys do anything like that? Like finishing a book gets you some type of, like access to maybe a new book or anything like that?
No, not that I know of. We don't
Just
have anything like
curious.
that.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that'd be
Put
cool.
Corey on
Like a
that.
summer-
Something to incorporate for
Like
sure.
a summer reading program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
we would
yeah,
read
for sure.
one, and then you got put in a raffle for
You
like
you
birds
log it,
tickets
right?
or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you had to finish the book, write a book report. Like
Yeah.
a little synopsis of everything, obviously to prove that you read it. But then once you hit your goal, then you got like something like where if you surpassed your goal of books for that summer, then every other basically it just the more you read, the more it incentivized
Yeah.
you. So I think that's something
I
might
think
be
we were
worth
part of
looking
that
into.
program because they assumed that we had books, though.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, mine was just the St. Louis Public Library, so you got to go check them out, and then that was just their way of getting kids involved. Because
Sure.
who do you even know that has a library card anymore? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
Not me.
I don't
I
even
know
know
I
how
owe the
many kids
library
had them
some
back
money,
when we were
probably.
kids, but I knew a part of the opportunity, honestly, for me, even back when we were kids, was knowing that there wasn't too much. Basically, if you joined up, you got some birds tickets because
Yeah.
there wasn't much competition with the raffle. So, just something to think about in the future. I was just
sure.
curious about that aspect.
Yeah.
So
It's a
with,
good idea.
with 8 to
I
10
got a couple.
events a year, why did you bother to call us in February?
So we contacted you guys for three reasons. We wanted to add one or two different styled events to our schedule, which you guys are a little more creative and think outside the box and bring us some different ideas. Like you mentioned bringing the APA and the dogs. Well, dogs and children seem to work hand in hand together.
Work that
and then
incentivization method in there.
we
with some
wanted to
puppies.
do a bar. Ixnayed the crawl, thinking it wasn't quite the market of our volunteers and our community, but it's just a different style of event, catered more to the adults who we want to target and get their donations and their following. The second reason is mutual networking in the areas that you guys work in and where we want to target more. We want to target the city more, which is where a lot of these kids come from. All know in South City there's a lot of loyal people, and the ages range. I mean, you'll get family members, you'll get parents, you'll get anybody that'll follow along. So we wanted to hit that market.
Yeah.
And then 3 was the need for regular, everyday people to follow and donate, not just corporate and big companies and stuff like that.
We had talked about that back in February when we all kind of sat down. Was you are doing a great job with the corporate sponsors. There's no lack of corporate money coming into Books for STL Kids, but you identified that as a ground level issue where not a ton of people. I didn't know who you guys were. You don't have a lot of touches with the common, everyday run of the mill folks as much as you would like.
And that's why I want to interject real quick, just to put an emphasis on one of our specialties as an organization, which is diversifying the demographic. So, like you said, you've reached out to a lot of corporate sponsors, not so much access to the common folk, for lack of a better term. I mean, I think we all have a reach with, just a lot of different groups of people and just a very diverse population. For example, we're harping back to it because it's one of our only main events to this point, but the Hair of the Dogtown thing, think about how many people didn't know STL Hero Network was a thing
Yeah.
beforehand,
Yeah,
and then
for real.
afterwards, I'm not saying that we played the most giant part, but I certainly think that it helped
It helped give them a
to
spike for
flourish
sure.
their brand a
Yeah.
little bit and just to get the name out there. So that's something that we want to continue to be able to do, which is put a spotlight on these local charities that are doing whatever they can specifically to help the local neighborhoods, the local kids, whatever it may be. And that's the type of charities that we want to help to highlight and to get the word out about. So I think this is just like, the perfect opportunity
And
for that.
seeing like the founders and the presidents of these organizations get involved, I think is pretty cool for me. You know what I mean? Like they're obviously sacrificing a lot of their own time and money away from their families, to get involved and make sure that, they're doing something good for their community, and it's solely for the community. You know what I mean? They're not benefiting from it. They're not earning any money from it. So
Right.
yeah.
But you can't touch the community from an office. You can't sit.
Yeah, man.
You know,
You
at
gotta kiss some
work.
babies.
You gotta get feet on
You're
the
not
ground.
lying.
For
Shake
sure.
hands, kiss
Shake
babies.
hands, kiss babies.
Seriously,
For
yeah.
sure. Exactly.
So I guess what we should dive into next is the greatest event that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and you asked me to mention what was the like price difference with the books.
Oh yeah, did you find
yeah.
find a multiplier on that?
Yeah, pretty much through the 50 through 90% discount through the store. The books average about $2.50 to $3, which is significantly cheaper than going out and buying it on your own.
Sure. So
Right.
so let's
So,
do some mental
yeah.
math here.
So, yeah.
$20 would buy somebody 8 books at $2.50 a piece. So we're running about a 7 to 1 what we would be paying in the store for $20 versus what books for STL kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And wanted to make a point that being a book charity, why aren't we doing more book drives? Well, we found out that book drives usually get slightly used books, and the people are just picking them at random. There's no set topic. So
Right.
we want these kids to, have that feeling of cracking a new book. We want the people that know these children the best to pick the books that best suit their kids. So we found out that you're going to get more bang for your buck by donating actual dollars
Right.
than trying to give us a book.
And
You guys ever do an event where you can get like an author of one of these children's books like there to do maybe like some autographs or
I think we have had special guests show up and read the books.
like who's the guy from Captain Underpants?
was that
Ooh,
still
that's a
thing?
blast from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
say.
What's that
Yeah.
guy's name? Does anybody know? Like that would be a cool ass event.
I don't think I knew
like,
then, so
like
I don't know now.
I mean, I'm saying like somebody comparable to that guy today. Like I would
what's
say
the
all of
Captain
Here's
us,
the thing,
Underpants
though. I
this
think you
year?
might
all
have
of
to.
us. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to blend a little more pop culture in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Just because I think it's difficult enough to get a kid to read a book and get off his phone nowadays, anyways.
So
You
like,
know
what
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
mean?
So I really love the how they individualize it, that concept of making sure that the people who are picking the books for them are the people closest to the kids, so they can maximize their chances, of a kid actually touching a book rather than just hey, this is a brand new book, unwrap it out of the plastic, and then you're like,
Never
what do
gets
I care
read.
about
Yeah.
whatever this has to say? How can I relate to this? So I think getting people from the community who reflect maybe what being more knowledgeable and being more educated and reading those books, like, just show them people from the community who made it out, who, hey, this is where reading can get you, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Reading's cool, basically. As cliche
Yeah.
as it is, show them like, hey, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, and the more power you have, the more ability you have to escape your circumstances. So
I was thinking
get
the
some
same
people
thing.
in there who reflect escaping those circumstances.
I was thinking the same thing, and that's why I think it's so cool that you're getting involved. You know what I mean? Like to show your face and actually put your hands in the mix. For some of these kids, that's a pretty special thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's a lot of kids who are going to need it, especially with this COVID-19 stuff. Like with schools and stuff,
They're
they're
going
underfunded.
to school from home.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Right.
think about these neighborhoods. Like up in North City, North County, a lot of these like districts. I don't know enough about them, but I mean, I could only imagine it's going to be a tough transition. I mean,
Sure, a lot of
Oh
kids
yeah,
don't have
absolutely.
Wi-Fi
Right.
at home.
Well, just all the accessibility issues for
city
sure.
schools in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already tough. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
a lot of these kids are already getting bussed out into the county, and it's.
I mean, right. Again, just accessibility in general. So if you can do something to, put an emphasis
Yeah,
on
for
maybe
sure.
that learning's not, such,
It's fun.
pretty-
It
it's,
can be
it's
fun.
not so taboo,
Yeah.
right? And then it supplies you with a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think that's cool as hell. And then again, just to put our twist on it, this would be something, just to, the whole point of this is just to give people a little more transparency about what we do and how we do it. So I would just envision, just going off the cuff as usual, that this would be something. Basically, we team up, we help promote some type of event, we get people together, we have a good time, and then again, portion of all those proceeds are able to go back to buying those new books. You know what I'm saying? Just to let people know how something like that would work.
That work is done.
Right.
So I was
right. Well, I just wanted to, provide some clarity
over the weekend, and we pretty much, I think we've ironed out all the details. So when we spoke with Josh in February, I immediately knew I had to take him to Recess, which was one of the hotter bars, at the beginning of the year or even last year.
Such a cool statement.
I mean,
take this dude to Recess.
Right. And then what a more fitting. There's
awesome.
literally
There's
not a more fitting location.
Well, but
to bring in our demographic plus tie in everything.
Recess had reached out to me informally well before Josh ever called me.
Right.
So Jeff Shipman, who Corey, Colin,
what up, Day Shift?
Maybe if you met him, Jeff's the bar manager over there, and we got to chatting. I was there one night celebrating Bobby's birthday, and he basically said, he was trying to put together a charity night just once a month, nothing too crazy, just
which I love.
Just a percentage kickback one Friday night a month is what he was trying to implement as bar manager, which he doesn't have to do that. He's got other stuff going on.
He's obviously trying to push his own agenda, something that
in a good way. Yeah.
Exactly. So I kind of told him, look, man, we can take this a step further. We can. Why they hold 300 people? Why don't we just do it here? And then, of course, all the bars had to get shut down. Luckily, I was able to email Jeff. Jeff took that email to their weekly meeting, presented it to his GM, Zach. They talked about it. And then basically the shutdown happened March. This was late February, early March. But Zach, the GM, he will come in closer to the event. He feels pretty close to charity work, has a little bit of an underdog story from what I understand. I've never spoken to him directly. So we'll bring him in. He loved the idea. From what I heard from Jeff is he has two things hanging on the wall of his office. One is the email that I sent him, and one is something else. That's it. So he printed it off. He liked it enough to hang it up. It just never worked out.
I've never printed out an email before.
I was going to say, the fact that it's on the wall speaks volumes
I've
enough.
Looked high and low. I can't find what I sent him.
Well, good thing you printed it out then, huh?
I Google delete your emails after 30 days, which is usually nice. But so anywho, I talked to Jeff over the weekend, and he said, "Look, we're moving. That was never a permanent spot.
Switching locations, right?
Yeah, just changing locations. It's going to be, they want to work with us. It's the same deal. Give us some time. We want to do this. I know the VP Fair, July 4th, was supposed to be a big deal for them. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I haven't heard not, but...
No, I haven't even heard about it.
If anything, it's going to be impacted, obviously.
Sure,
so,
most major events are kind of out the window. So they have a lot to deal with on their end. But I was also thinking, man, with these bars are probably going to need help just as much as any charity right now. I mean, the restaurant industry's been impacted so greatly.
Yeah.
Right.
So there will be an event at Recess. It's coming. We just kind of have to deal with some things that are out of our control, and it'll happen.
Yeah. It would be a cool event if we did if we brought those kids in and did like a fitness obstacle course. Not quite CrossFit.
Like a 3D something or another.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm talking about for the kids. You know what I mean? For the kids.
My wheels are already spinning.
Like a strongman competition or something something similar to that. Like a
field day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But with real workouts, you could run them through. I think that would be awesome. And then getting all the families out, and because I'll tell you this, with sports and stuff being canceled, that's where I'm worried about these kids.
Absolutely.
Not being able to be in a gym, not being able to be on a football field, baseball field, whatever. I think that's going to be a big impact. Whether it is this year or next year for sure, if this is all the same.
I mean, I'm seeing it directly. My saint of a mother, with everything going on in her life, has now, for the time being, basically taken sole custody of my 8-year-old little cousin. I call her my niece just because of the age gap, but my little cousin. And I mean, it's literally, you just want to get her out of the house, but there's just limited options
Yeah.
of what to do right now.
Yeah.
She even does karate, but things like that, small spaces, bunch of little
It ain't
kids.
happening.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. And if it is, then it's it's
It's
way
still
less frequent.
dicey.
Those type
if
of
it's
things.
available, you still are gonna have that kind of something holding
Right.
you back. you
Right,
know?
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
a
and then
whole
there's all.
socializing thing though for these kids though too, and just to get out of the house and learn something. You
Yeah,
know,
so
like,
I'm saying there's definitely a market there now more than ever.
Yeah.
And then you incentivize, maybe some type of, we're all just spitballing right now, but even like a type of raffle situation, like, hey, read so many books, get a chance to participate this obstacle
Yeah.
course, do whatever, do this, do that, I mean, I was a kid once. We all understand that it takes a little incentivization to sit there and buckle down. So if we can use that right now, I was joking around when all this started, and I said, turns out all we had to do for this next generation of kids that all the parents were worried about being stuck on their cell phones and stuck on an Xbox is basically, I haven't seen more families. At least I hadn't. Now it's kind of dropped off. But when all of this hit the fan and everybody was kind of, like in that quarantine mode, I swear I saw more kids riding their bikes than I had
It's
in
crazy. I've
a
never
decade.
seen so
And
many
it turns
kids.
out all you got to do is tell them that
Yeah.
they can't. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, now,
And families
like we're
walking
always
together.
saying, just putting a positive spin on
Yeah.
things. Yeah, I think now more than ever would definitely be a time to, link up and then definitely put a little emphasis on the education side of things as well as the, the physical fitness side of things.
And on the south
So-
side, there's a surplus of parks that we could
Yeah, absolutely.
that at, you
Right.
know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
straight up,
keep it very close to
most
home.
times when I ride or run, I do what's called like a little park triathlon because I always at least pass Carondelet, Francis, and
You're up to like
Wilmore.
a triathlon a day, right?
Well, something like that. We're getting there. But the point being is that, I mean, there's literally an overwhelming amount of venues that we could have
Yeah.
these things at, and like multiple places at once. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So this is another thing where we'd reach out, get the SOS family on board, see who's interested, and
We're gonna
maybe
have
make
to
some
tread-
preliminary plans, and then go
We're gonna
from
have
there.
to tread really lightly.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
some-
for sure, yeah. But like I said,
We're
this
just
is
throwing
all
shit
just
at the wall right
brainstorming,
now,
right? But yeah,
it'd
I
be
mean, there's
something
certainly
really
a market
cool
for it,
for
right?
the
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
it's
to
needed.
get somebody like major brands or somebody to like maybe donate some liquor or like get one of the bars to come in, like do a bar for the adults, make it like a social event. I'd be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sky's the
Like
limit.
Midwest Soccer Academy would be something really cool to go do that. I know he doesn't own
bring
that
all those
anymore.
That's where I
but,
wanted to do.
Yeah, does that?
The future event is. I
Yeah.
want to figure out who the new
That's like the
owner is.
perfect. That's like the perfect place to
It's
do
the
that.
There's a good
Yeah.
spot, yeah. Or maybe even reach out to a local Y. I know they do a lot of book programs as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whose toes I'm stepping on now. Kind of mixing things up because, like I said, I know they do their own thing as well. But I mean, if at the end of the day it's for the benefit of the kids, I think we should all be able to
worth
work
making a
something
phone
out.
call,
Yeah,
Right,
that's for
right,
sure.
The
exactly.
YMCA would definitely get.
Well, and I know the Y's not exactly, I mean, literally everyone's hurting for the lack of a better term.
Yeah.
It's not an institution that's exactly there to make profits, but I mean, I haven't been able to go.
I know.
I'm a Y member, and I haven't been able to go for the past few months. I'm sure they're feeling just like most other gyms.
Are they
you
open
know
yet?
what I'm saying?
I
I think
have no idea.
at a minimal capacity.
Okay.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not really too sure at all. I know I haven't been back yet, but I think obviously there's certain restrictions. I'm sure if there are ones that are open.
I think I'm about there. Planet Fitness is open. That's where I go. I don't think I can wait any.
Do you eat
more.
candy before you work out?
They do have Tootsie Rolls there.
Yeah.
And that sometimes they have pizza, but I feel uncomfortable eating pizza with that many strangers. I don't
That
know.
ain't right after you work out.
particularly given the
Yeah.
current circumstances,
I'm
for
okay
sure.
on that
Yeah.
one, but yeah.
But if you don't want to go to your local gym, you can
Just
always
did
hit up
2
the
hours of
Progress
cardio, let
Dojo.
me-
Cheap plug.
I
Yeah.
heard Progress Fitness is so busy they don't have any open slots.
Yeah.
Kind
it's
of getting
tough.
there. We'll talk about that in the W section of today, but yeah, I mean that's not really an overstatement.
Hey,
to be
one
honest
more
with you.
one more fleeting idea is I did see an idea for some virtual fundraising, but I'm not certain that virtual fundraising is providing enough value. So by the next time we have a podcast, we might have a sit down for a quick, easy virtual fundraising that I'm going to steal and make their idea better. And then maybe we can find somebody just to support in the meantime.
I'm
whoever's
interested to
hurting
see
the
where that
worst.
stuff goes, but the virtual stuff, man, I'm more of a social
It's
butterfly.
tough to get somebody to cut a check and then sit in front of their computer.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm saying, like, are there anywhere? Do you guys happen to have a promo or anything like that? Like a little video snippet, any
I can make
information about what you guys do? You should definitely think about that, and then we could basically like a little bit from my idea last year, which obviously has quite a few holes we can punch in it, but it's something that's at least worth, giving a go. Again, just something to generate views, and then in the process, if it lets people know a little bit about what you do and, what we're going to do while we partner up, moving forward, then again, I think just the more information, the better at this stage of the game. We just want complete transparency. So we want people to know what we do. We want people to know what the charities that we partner with do, and then how we're going to do our best to promote their cause and try to just maximize the effectiveness of everything involved. So that would definitely be,
Whatever
just
we
a quick
do,
little, basically, little commercial.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, hell
We
yeah,
don't-
it
we
always
don't-
is.
We don't half-ass
half-ass
anything.
around here.
Yeah, we don't half-ass anything. Yeah.
That wasn't planned, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited to actually get back at the table and put our heads together.
Yeah, I mean, my feet are literally under the table right now, clicking,
Yeah.
like smacking on it, because there's so many ideas, and I think Cuzzy and I in particular, everybody at this table, really, you probably would have put us into that fidgety category back in grade school. So that's really never, right. That's really never left
this kid's
anybody.
Gonna be
so
disruptive.
right, yeah.
Give him some Ritalin.
You just gotta do something with that fuel source. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my fire's been burning, particularly as of late. I'm ecstatic about this podcast and all of the opportunities this is going to open up. So I think, sooner we can get on the ground and get running, the better. Obviously, if we can function at a minimal capacity for the time being, then anything that we could do to help local venues out as well. I mean, that's always been the premise of all of it for me. I say, a networking organization with an emphasis on fundraising.
Yep.
And then getting local venues involved, so we can, it's literally like a threefold thing. Everybody that gets involved, the more the merrier, and the more you're going to be able to promote your own brands and help out whoever we're helping out as well. So there's literally nothing but W's involved.
We could do something like on one of these episodes where we just kind of open the floor, and open the comment section for people to give us ideas.
Yeah, for sure. We do need to build up a little bit of engagement as we move forward, but obviously, it's a slow process building traction.
That's kind of on me, because if we're not filming this live, then it's difficult to get comments, right? So and I don't know how many people are gonna watch along with this.
You
So
can just do it through the social media post.
Yeah,
Facebook,
I
LinkedIn.
definitely I slept on it a little bit today. I actually had a couple people after the last one ask me to notify them whenever we were going to do the next one and go live with it, just so they could tune in, basically with us. So again, I'm not saying that
we
we're
should
getting
do a live
millions of
one.
viewers here, but
I'm not being
Live one would be
intentionally difficult. It's just that with my lack of knowledge, it takes a little while for us to get a Spotify link, a Facebook link, put it on YouTube.
no, we're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah. So baby steps.
One
I
step
was
at a-
thinking.
Hey, you call that hashtag PRGS?
Yeah, a little
Hashtag PRG.
Hootsuite.
What's that?
Hootsuite.
What's that?
You can post all on all social media platforms at the same
At
time.
one
All
time.
at once. Yeah. The problem is that I run a couple, Corey runs a couple. I think Colin's got some accounts.
Well, you're gonna need to clean that
We're
up first.
we're tying up some loose ends and ironing some things out for surely, but we'll get there, no doubt. I mean, to be honest, the way that it's going right now is as far as I'm, all about effectiveness and efficiency.
Doing
Everybody's
anything's
got their
better
own
than
little
nothing.
everybody's got their own little area of expertise for the time being. But this is all a learning curve, and that's why I think it's it's more fun every time we do one, because we're just learning a little bit more. We're getting a little bit more exposure, so
It's for the kids.
Or whoever.
true,
Josh,
true.
it's for the kids.
This week it's for the
Damn it.
kids,
This week
for
it's for-
surely. Yeah.
Tell the listeners.
It's always for the community,
There's-
though.
well,
That's
there's
for
a
damn sure.
Basic rule in charity work is that everyone hates cancer and loves dogs.
This
And
is true.
we have said that. Oh, hey,
This is
you know
true.
what? So the
Oh,
20,
shit.
what's today? The 29th. So we're a
Mhm.
little behind schedule. The 21st was our meeting at Seamus McDaniel's when we decided to do this a year ago last week. So we've been working at this a year now.
Really?
Because it's all on Facebook. But the meeting that we had where we decided to nail down Hair of the Dogtown was August 12th. So
Was that at Seamus or was that?
that was at Bombers.
Bombers,
Yeah, we did
yeah.
simulated golf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did the simulated golf, yeah.
Simulated golf. So
I
yeah,
remember that, I
2 month
remember that.
turnaround between the initial meeting and when we picked our event, and then 3 months after that to get to Hair of the Dogtown. It's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And then recess will be even easier, Josh, because it's already hammered out. All we have to do is get Jeff and Zach to come on the podcast, promote the event a little bit.
Hell yeah. And for future reference as well, we'll tame things down. I don't want to get too many cooks in the kitchen at once, but just given the fact that that was, you know, the inception of all of this, going back one step further with Mom's situation, you know, for anybody that's not directly involved, I won't bog you down with too many of the details, but to say we're in the bonus rounds is an understatement. So every day is definitely even more appreciated, and we are going to have a celebration for her. Her birthday month is September, and the first anniversary of all of, you know, everything that we did, just real quick on a whim, which I explained in the last episode, was around May 18th. Obviously, with all the chaos going on, you know, we had to put some holds in that for the time being. So that will be something that's coming up again in the future as well. So, you know, we'll just be throwing that in the mix down the road. Obviously, again, a lot of things pending, but, you know, yeah. So we got quite
It's
a few
weird
things
time
on
of
the
year.
schedule for surely. Yeah, weird but exciting, no doubt. Because again, just like we were talking about last week, we're just like, you know, horses sitting there at the starting line waiting to take off. So once everything gets a little more back to air quotes normal, you know, we'll have everything lined up and ready to fire. So
Absolutely. I got a couple shout outs and then we'll do wins. And
Yeah.
then that'll be almost an hour, guys. This one flew by.
dang.
2 shout outs. First one, JP, owner of Overtime Studio, where we're sitting right now, just had his baby about 10 days ago. Baby Jeremy.
Yo, congrats.
Healthy, all the fingers in tow. So shout out to JP
There
and
we
Jeremy,
go.
the rest of the family.
Absolutely.
And then
Positive vibes.
Spoke with Corey Austin today from Pedal for the Cause.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I
Okay.
know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know somebody else on the board.
Yeah, shouts out Nick Whalen, the whole Whalen family. They're very intimately involved with all of that. So, Nick, we'll see if you're listening this week.
Yeah, give him
Yeah.
a little test.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So they definitely do not need our help.
No,
as
not at
far-
all.
As far as event planning, but I would like to get them on the podcast closer to whenever they throw their event, just to kind of give them
Absolutely.
another avenue to advertise, see if they
Yeah.
can spread a little free marketing.
And that's something I just real quick want to interject that personally I have not been on it as much as I maybe would have liked to have been because of, and this is dead serious, just that I don't really ride bikes too often. I just got one not too long ago, but before that, you know what I'm saying?
You know how to ride a bike, though.
One of my biggest, you know,
I
they
refuse to
say
ride a bike.
you can hop
I
right
know you
back
can
on
ride a
one and
bike.
it's like it, but I'm telling you, your boy's a little wobbly. So that being said, I just want to encourage people who, you know,
you're
like
top
maybe
heavy,
if it's
dude.
getting outside, well, that's what we're working on, baby. Down 30 pounds in 6 months. Progress, baby. What's up?
Yeah.
We're getting stable on that bike again. But in all seriousness, that's something, you know, that I just kind of put it off. For whatever reason, running seems more accessible than biking. Maybe you don't own a bike. Maybe you don't do it too often. And this is a great time to, you know, that would be a great event to jump back into it and do something like that. Yeah. So, you know, again, yeah, just
You're
for
going
down
to
the
be on
road.
somebody's pegs, Josh? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I want to see you guys cringe when I tell you I haven't worked out in 5 years. I know it's hard to maintain this bod, but
Well, then where did the six-pack come from?
Right.
natural
It's like
God-given
what do
ability.
they
We're
say?
all wondering. I'm
I
not the
think
only one
he
asking.
Hate to
airbrushed
tell
it
you,
on.
but this is
Yeah,
what peak
yeah.
performance looks like. Yeah, he's
Is
like
it
a
the
Spartan
airbrush
from
technique?
300.
Oh,
Definitely.
dude, yeah.
I'm more surprised that you guys are drinking beers and haven't moved to the seltzer game for the,
Oh,
for the health
yeah.
benefits there, boys.
No.
Actually, we usually drink Budweiser, but the gas station didn't have any, and they had Bud Light on sale for $7 a sixer. So,
And we're economical around here.
yeah,
Thrifty.
You know what
in
I'm
this
saying?
economy, you can't turn down a deal like
Thrifty.
that. Josh, you got any shout outs? You got to shout somebody out, dude. Somebody's listening.
Somebody, somewhere, something, somebody who inspires you, something, something.
I would like to shout out my grandma.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Is she listening?
Sorry,
No.
Grandma.
She will
Heck-
be, though. I'll tell her
Heck yeah.
about it.
Heck yeah.
Okay. That's a start. Colin, anybody you need to shout out this week?
Oof. Who do I want to shout out? Let's see
Oh,
here.
man, he's just burning time.
You
No.
want me to interject? I
Yeah,
mean,
please,
while
dude.
this
You
kid
gotta
just
come.
stalls
if
over
you
here.
really want to shout somebody out, you gotta come like
Top of
ready
the
to
dome
shout
piece,
'em
baby.
out.
Top of the dome.
I'll
so,
tell you. I'll shout out the St. Louis Hero Network.
as soon as I
they
start
gave-
talking,
yeah,
you see how that works?
yeah.
Mhm.
Alpha. You know? So
Yeah,
that's how that works. So,
yeah. Alphas inspire. Go ahead.
you know, I met with Charlie Metzner a couple weeks ago, and got a gold level award from him. You know, for the donations that our company.
Wait.
Sit down.
You got an award?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
bro.
We're
up?
gonna have to cut that award in three.
Oh, in
Yeah,
threes, yeah.
I
No,
was about
I
to
got
say,
it coming in.
That's a
threes,
third of a
yeah.
gold star you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
over there.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah. I think it was more for Crawford Butts for the
Oh, okay.
for
That's
what they
Fair enough.
donated. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to just being able to network again. You know, I was able to get out and have some breakfast with him and another buddy, Rob Will, over at Will Electronics. It's good to have some normalcy. So, shout out to those two.
Hell yeah.
Corey,
From
what
what I
you got?
hear, STLHN's got a podcast on the way shortly too. So
I heard.
Excited to
I heard.
see what develops with that.
Yeah, we'll
For
see
sure.
how that goes.
And then I'm going to shout out my mother. Of course, like I just said,
Ah,
she's, just doing her thing as usual. And with everything going on, I think they were a little bit more tentative about the chemo and everything else. So she's getting back into all of that fun stuff, for the lack of a better term. So shouts out to Mama. Love you to death. As far as I'm concerned, a sole part of my inspiration for all of this. And then just some cheap plugs, NFGTs. Progress Fitness. Again, we'll get into the W's a little bit later, but yeah, got to
we're getting
self-promote.
into them
So,
right now.
Right
dude.
now.
I'm
so you,
not
want me
waiting
to, you want me to segue straight to it? Because I'll tell you what's
Oh,
up with
man.
Progress right now.
Yeah,
Tell us
please
what's up.
do.
I mean,
Comes
basically,
a 10 or 12 minute rant.
free market is dictating
Should we get some more beers?
appointments at this point.
I think
So
we're
it's in all sincerity, it's going as well as it possibly could. I just smoked all the clients, and in particular
Damn.
Cuzzy today
Really?
in the newest kettlebell challenge. So that's how we like to get the week started. So that's always nice to get a legit W under your belt. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Nobody was there to see it though.
Well,
You know what
it's,
I mean?
it's
Like-
recorded on the phone. You know what I'm saying? It's all
no.
right there.
If
Stats are
Corey-
there
if
for you,
Corey
baby.
does goblet squats alone in the
Yeah.
in his garage, does anyone?
Does anybody hear it?
Does
That's
anybody
word.
hear it?
That
You
is
know what I
word.
mean?
And
You were
actually,
there
I
when
do
did
hear from
mine.
Hannah that she does hear it, and that Millie imitates me in the other room
That's
and just
hilarious,
starts yelling.
It's
So-
funny that you beat me this week because I think I called you about 2 hours after I did mine,
Yeah.
just to check on where I was
Right,
at.
just to check in.
And you
I-
said I was leading the race, and all of a sudden, you come and beat me by some 9
And then
minutes?
verbatim, I believe I said, "But you'll see later," because I still had to get
Hey, the
mine in
week's
before
not
I
over,
came
dude. Go
over.
back
You know
over
what I'm
there.
saying?
Yeah.
What? He's
And he-
already hacking at the bit. Lining one up
back
for
over
tomorrow.
there.
So yeah, we'll get it in.
What about
we'll get
what
it in.
about insurance? Anything good?
Yeah, man. I mean, just business as usual. Again, that tends to go right along with the progress success. Just because get people in the dojo, let them know I'll whip your body into action and maybe help that wallet out as well. So we're running quotes as usual. If anybody needs one, definitely get at us. This time of the year, again, I understand is hectic now more than ever, and we're not really sure what the
now's
future
time to make the
holds.
call,
But that's
man.
what I'm saying. Exactly. That's why sometimes people might not be looking at that. It's just something that comes out of the an automatic poll every month or something like that. Maybe
if
it's
money's
time to
tight.
exactly. Maybe it's time to start reevaluating a few things. So definitely feel free to holler.
Absolutely. And if you haven't, you're supposed to do that every 2 years.
What's that?
Reevaluate
That's
your
true.
insurance.
Oh
Very
yeah.
true.
I just came up to do that, and I stuck with Zach Rogers at State Farm.
Damn.
No.
What is that dude
No.
doing to help out? Hi, damn, cheap plugs all day. All right,
Damn.
Zach.
Josh
Yeah,
Wagner,
all
tell
right.
us about some wins. Actually, we never got to what your day job is. As much as you work on the weekends and nights, this guy does have a 40-hour-a-week job.
Maybe a little more hours, but
Oh,
Ooh, slided him.
More hours.
well,
Get
yeah.
him, Josh.
I work at Power Motion, and it's an industrial automation company. I'm the marketing and business development coordinator. Coming up on my 1-year anniversary this
There we
week.
go.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Pretty much killed it in my first year there.
Like
Redesigned the entire website, started social media from scratch, took over the newsletter and CRM system, tracking analytics, adding a bunch of stuff to the website. I literally made a list of this because you told me this was going to be a question, and it turned out being 3 pages long. So I'm just going to save everybody that.
Oh man, give us
damn.
the 3 pages, baby. We gotta.
And
we
just
got a
giving
few
you-
minutes.
You over-prepared for
Indulge
this.
us, bro. There's
By
no
the
such thing as
And
over
then,
preparation. If
well-
that's a list of all of your successes, lay them
That's a
out,
third
son.
of
This
it.
is the time.
Sure.
I was about to say, we'll just get to the keynotes. Through all my activities, I got our traffic up 40% from 2019. Got our leads, because we're mainly a sales company, up 62%.
Which is the lifeblood. So
The following
There
was
it
at
is.
0 when I started. We're up to almost 300 now. And in this industry, like our top competitors at 1,500. So in a couple of years, we're going to catch them. Newsletter reviews are up 30%. Saved us $8,000 through these programs. But next up is international shipping. And believe it or not, I might be becoming a vision engineer.
Damn.
Sweet.
What's that entail?
sounds fancy. I'll tell you that
Complicated.
much.
It's what we do is we give industrial automation products for like manufacturers.
Are you gonna be drawing blueprints?
So I'm gonna be drawing blueprints for like vision cameras. So when you see like people the things in assembly lines and it's in the correct spot, or
Yeah.
labels on like bottles and stuff are in the right.
Mhm.
That's what I would be determining and
Like a
evaluating.
marketing engineer.
I'm trying to sell it to my boss like that,
Yeah.
so I can use it for marketing, but it can also
Yeah.
pat my wallet.
Never
Hey.
hurts.
Everybody wins.
Colin, what you got?
I got a couple W's. So again, not to spin back to where I was, but it's good
But
to be.
he's about to spin back.
Yeah.
to where-
Yeah. I got to meet with a few people last week. Jenny Wyrick over at Backpacks for Success. Shout out to her. She's also a commercial lender over at Bancorp, and then I got to meet with Charlie Metzer and Rob Will. And Rob Will, shout out to you, man. I'm excited to be working with you. I've known him for my whole life, and it's good to be coming up and networking and connecting each other with some business that can hopefully drive some revenue for our company.
That's
so
probably your biggest business building activity.
Is what?
Is just meeting face to face with
yeah,
people.
just meeting people. Yep. And that's why this COVID stuff has been so tough for me. You know, like I'm an emotional guy, like, you know, so when it comes down to like,
Understatement.
yeah, when it comes down to like, you know, selling, I like to sell on emotion. I like to meet face to face, you know, and it's been, you know, it's just been a change of pace for sure. But now that restaurants are opening back up and bars are opening back up and, you know, people are having some leniency, it's good to meet with some friends, you know, so yeah, it's been good. Those are a couple wins. Business is great. Been better than ever since COVID has hit. I don't really know what the science is behind that, but
Because now's the time
Don't
to
worry about their
reevaluate.
health.
yeah, hopefully keep, you know,
And you
the train
you
keeps
kept your
rolling.
head down and your heels dug in. So a lot of people have been deterred by all this. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you gotta
sure.
learn
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
capitalize on adversity.
Never get deterred.
A lot of
Bingo.
guys
Get
didn't
determined.
work for the last 90 days.
Determined, yeah.
You know, a lot of these self-employed guys kind of shied away from it, but I feel like all of us worked straight through pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
We're
I didn't
fortunate.
have a company telling me to do it. Matter of fact, it was quite the opposite. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, just don't.
Yeah.
Don't
Straight
do
up.
It.
But another win here is getting here for the second episode. You know, like I'm happy we're committing to this and following through. So
For surely.
cheers, boys.
Yeah. Appreciate being
Cheers.
the first guest to the
Yeah.
Sons of St. Louis.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I just want to throw in there that this mustache has been grown solely during this quarantine. So that's
How big
GH.
do you think we could get
it's
it?
also a W. I mean,
You've
sky's
been-
the limit, and I'm gonna be honest. It's
you've been
already
using
its
Rogaine,
reputation
though.
has preceded me, so I couldn't even cut it off if I wanted to.
You've
at
been
this
using
point.
Rogaine though on your.
Hey, I mean, whatever's clever. A little Miracle Grow.
Miracle
I
Grow.
think you're gonna have to
Yeah.
start twisting the ends up like Riley Fingers there.
Oh,
Well,
he
I-
does.
I definitely got the length.
I'm getting to it for surely. Yeah, you know, again, just like the podcast, it's all a learning curve. So I'm just enjoying it, taking it one day at a time. You know?
I'll
every
be
time,
there in,
every
like,
time
2
I
years.
sneeze, it curls up a little bit more.
I've
you
been
know
growing
what I'm
mine since the 8th grade.
saying? Yeah, yeah. Shouts out to Cuzzy. Yeah, he had a hair transplant actually. Took some from his chin, put it up top on the lip there. Oh,
Nick,
man.
go ahead, baby. What's
bro,
give me some
wrap it up.
W's.
I just got back from the lake. I was actually able to work from the lake, which was...
That's not a win.
Yeah, oh, it is. That's a win, buddy. If you can be productive on vacation.
Hell yeah,
So,
big W.
I pretty much worked like 9 to 12 every day, and it's so easy to get distracted when you work from home. But when you see
Mm-hmm.
that lake, man, you just want to jump in the lake so bad that you got to get your work done, you know. So had a few
Straight up.
showings when I was out of town. They were both productive showings, but they didn't exactly turn into dollars.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Planting seeds.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
bingo.
man. They say load them up like a Ferris wheel; they'll get off sooner or later, you know. So
Just keep chugging.
I did have a referral, which was nice from some folks that I'm working with. Haven't even bought a house with me yet, and they're already referring some family, which is good. Makes you feel good, you know, that you're working hard, and they recognize that even though the job's not done. Met with a guy I used to work with and his wife. He's now a manager of a restaurant. They want to buy a house, so kind of wild. Worked with him probably 6 years ago. We were in the trenches together through the holiday seasons and everything else. Now he's running the restaurant, and I'm going to sell him a house.
Boom.
Super
Full
cool.
circle.
Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Chris Nerez. Talked to him a little
Chris.
bit.
What up, Nene?
Yeah, everybody knows Chris.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one listing appointment at the end of the week on Friday on the Hill. Not going to tell you their name because I don't want somebody to steal it from me. Dude, I'm pretty paranoid about that one.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only agent they're interviewing, which is uncommon. So usually people interview 3-5 agents to see who's going to sell their house if they don't have somebody in their pocket already. But he didn't tell me to come interview. He said he wants to know what his house is worth, and he wants me to come over and drink a beer. So sounds
There
like
you
it's
go.
my job to lose, you know,
drink beer?
Bingo.
once or twice a day.
Is that why you're drinking beer today to learn how to do it, or what?
Yeah.
Hey,
to
quick
learn.
interjection as well. just a little side note, but perfect for all of this, is the essence of South City this week, as far as I was concerned, was Mick, you'll recall, you should have a full gas can under your porch now again, because I was taking my car out for a spin first day we got back after Cuzzy and I went on our first trip this past week, our first annual Father's Day trip up to Michigan. And totally forgot that my car was on E, and I was just cruising around town on my way to my next destination, and lo and behold, I end up breaking down right at the top of Mick's block, and I was in a little bit of a panic, and then all of a sudden I realized, okay, I'm at the top of my cousin's block, so let me just holler at him real quick.
It's crazy that those cars don't have the needles, the ENF needles.
I mean, I'm going to tell you straight up, it was user error. But, got back from vacay, just really wasn't on the mind. Actually, conveniently cruised right past the QT as I broke down. But the moral of the story is that, like we were talking last week, basically there's always somebody in your corner somewhere, especially, and I mean that's metaphorically in general. You just got to keep knowing that. But specifically in South City, I was joking with people afterwards that's one of my favorite things, there's always a gas can in sight that you can go grab if your car breaks down. So shouts out to Mick. I traded him a little watering of some flowers and a refill of the gas can. Got me just enough to get to the QT. So that was a literal epitome of what this is all about. So
actually,
that
I
was
got
nice.
a lot out of that because he also hid my package from GNC.
Yeah, that's true.
That
That's
was
true.
poorly delivered, just haphazardly on my porch.
Hanging off the top step.
Yeah, not gonna work. And then killed a wasp back there for me too. So.
Oh, damn right.
Dude.
Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, that's one of my passions. Wasp and flies are the enemy, so I take them out.
Call this guy.
Slight work,
Seriously,
baby. Slight
call this
work.
guy.
Corey
I'm
Donovan
actually
for your personal training and pest control and insurance and potentially even T-shirts and hats needs.
I mean,
Isn't
it's
that
honestly,
part
it's
of the
whatever
training,
you
though,
need.
is
Jack
to
of
walk
all
up to a
trades.
hornet's nest and karate chop as many hornets as you can.
Well, it's not exactly like that. You got to have a little more technique than that. But essentially, yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You know what
I'll
I'm
teach you the
saying?
techniques.
Hey, fun fact for anybody that doesn't know, if you do chuck something at a wasp nest, they know which direction it comes from. So just keep that
How'd
in
you
mind.
learn that?
That was
we know where it came from.
about 2 decades ago. I learned that in Francis Park. Shout out to that new coffee shop that actually exists right next to the tennis courts. That's where I figured that out walking home
There's
with
a
my
new
older
coffee
brother.
shop?
I think it's been
Pulling
there for a
stingers out
minute,
of
but
them.
yeah, I'm still running from those guys. So yeah, just a little PSA for the week.
Well, guys, that's about our time. We got anything else, Josh, Corey?
Just probably shout out to social media. Follow or like STL Books for
You know
Kids
what? You're
Facebook.
right.
Hit
You're
it in
right.
there.
They,
Hit it in there.
I looked at your social media earlier. You guys do great. There's tons of posts, tons of events, but for some reason your likes are down. So we need to get everybody to like that page because it's
So
not.
this is another part of again the essence of our promotional skills, right? So
Yeah, it's
we
not. I mean,
shout
it's
you
an
guys out a
active
little
page.
bit.
You guys should
Yeah.
have more viewers than what you're getting right
Well,
now.
I feel that, but again, that's exactly what, at least a very strong pillar of why we created this whole thing was just to help shine a spotlight on, not necessarily undervalued, but maybe just, people who are too busy doing their own thing, keeping the charity afloat and everything else. So we want to come in, we want to expose you guys to a different demographic, and then do the best we can to promote and have a good time with it. So yeah, that'll be a perfect opportunity for us to,
And then recess
hop on board.
coming soon. As soon
Yeah.
as we find a new location for recess, man, I'm so excited. It's
yeah, it's gonna be very cool, very cool.
I want to shout out Progress Fitness again. One time for the
Hashtag
one time.
PRGS, cheap plug. What's up?
I want to say, it's good to have an accountability buddy like Corey. We went to we took that
Trademark
trip to
that
Michigan.
term, but what's up?
Yeah,
Thanks, bro.
yeah. We took this trip to Michigan and what did we end up running? What was it, 5.5 miles?
Yeah, 5.5 miles with a right at the midpoint. We ran up a flight of 302 stairs.
Up and down.
Yeah.
And then we finished it off with a series of 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. Or 3-on-3 basketball
1v1
showdown.
1v1
Oh yeah,
out
yeah,
of 3.
yeah. 1v1.
He's giving
And
a
Ian,
little
really,
snippet,
we only
you know
played
what
2
I'm
games, didn't we?
saying? Yeah, because it was 11-6 and 11-7. I got no problem admitting that. I had a little
Yeah.
Zion Williamson situation.
call it a
The
sweep.
The shoe busted
Oh,
out, but
my.
I mean, yeah.
This
Poor
dude.
craftsman that blames his tools. I'll take the L on that one.
But,
It's all right. It's
but
all right.
anyway, the point is we were on vacation and we kept each other, we held each other accountable and we got these workouts in and I think that's huge, to have somebody like that in your corner, and that's what this group is all about, when I text Mick and in the middle of the day, if he's having trouble finding some traction, he's usually trying to find the gym or trying to hit a workout. It's the same with Corey. And that's what I love. We're all like-minded. You know what I mean? And physical fitness is definitely an aspect of that. Like if you're having trouble, mentally, you can find yourself on a good run, good walk, long walk.
It's quite literally physics.
Yeah.
An object in motion stays in motion. You know what I'm saying? So if you're finding yourself in a rut, the best way to get out of it is just to get up and do something.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. Like, for example, just real quick, now that Colin brought that up, I had a good buddy of mine, Sean Lemon. We'll see if he's listening as well. Knock on wood for him. He had a new.
Last week? Because you gave him a shout out last week.
You know what? I never heard about it, so now we're just gonna have to keep
out.
stacking these up. Yeah, we'll get these rollover minutes. I'll have to sit them down, make them
Shout
listen
out
to them
my
all at
baby
once.
mama, my mother.
Did you send it
My
to
baby
him?
mama's mama.
Did you send it to him directly?
No, you know what? I didn't because we were having a couple issues, so I'll have him get back on it. But the moral of that story is that today he was just going to hang out for a little bit. He had an interview for, potentially a new job. And then he said, actually, let me holler at you. Let me get over there and get one of those kettlebell circuits in real quick just to get myself up and going, maybe alleviate his certainly wasn't 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? That's like next level. That's elite stuff right there. But he got in there, he worked up a sweat, and I was joking with him at the end of it, but he was sitting there laying on the ground, and I said, try being anxious for your interview after this, you know what I'm saying? Which is, he just wanted to get in there, get the butterflies out, and get some clarity of thought, which I thought worked out perfectly. That's literally exactly why I'm in this game, so.
Well, that's it. Josh Wagman, somebody needs to get a hold of you for books for STL kids. What's the best avenue to do that?
I would say go through our website. Got good information, current, up to date for events. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can contact us through multiple ways on the website.
Is there a rep that anyone can contact directly? Is there somebody that you guys have who gets back with folks, or you just reach out and then
Josh
get back to you?
MF and Wagman.
All right. Fair.
Yeah.
Looks like
hit up his Facebook.
booksforSTLkids.org, info@booksforSTLkids.org. We'll try and get this recess thing going. What about
No,
promotion?
remove that word. We take the word try out of the equation. We will get it going.
Recess really is done. I don't know why,
We will get it
I'm
going.
still stressing about it.
No,
you
it's
know.
all good.
And then what about for your day job? If somebody should have to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do it?
You can contact any of the links on the website. They all come to me.
Well, what's the website, Josh?
It is powermotionsales.com.
There we go.
There we
That's what
go.
I'm talking
Bingo.
about.
All right,
Colin
you
McNeil.
guys know all our stuff. I think we got a shake.
No, we were good. Colin McNeil.
Okay.
Yeah, hit me up on my email, first dot last name at crawfordbutts.com. Butts is BUTZ.com. Or, on Facebook. I'll tag this on Facebook. Just
Corey
hit me up.
Donovan, hat sales, T-shirt sales, personal training, and personal lines of insurance. What you got?
All one umbrella. Just hit me up on Progress PRGS_fitness24 on Instagram, Facebook NFG_TZ, and then if you need some insurance help as well, Corey Donovan at ATINSUR.com.
Bing,
One-stop
bang,
shop.
burp.
And then my
What was that
favorite
thing
right
that you
now
did?
has got to be Zillow. You can find me Mick Classic, KLASEK. I'm the only one in the state. You can find me on Facebook at Mick Classic Realtor. The page is called Mick Classic Real Estate Agent. That's all we got, guys. 2 weeks from now, we'll
Love
be
you
back
all.
at it.
Bing, bow,
Peace.
burr.
Bing, bow, burnt.
Out. Good stuff, buddy.
What kind of insurance do you guys do?
I don't like what you said.
All of it?
No, on physics.
Staying in motion?
No,
Real deal, isn't it?
I had surgery in January and I was pretty down, and the